Imagine a trader in a local market caught selling saris stamped with the geographical indication Kanchipuram silk. The problem is, they were woven hundreds of kilometers away from Kanchipuram, and he has no authorization to use the tag. For that act, he faces imprisonment of 6 months to 3 years and a fine of 50,000 to 2 lakh rupees. Welcome to Lecture G6 for the Trademarks Agent Exam 2027 preparation series. Today, we outline the exact mechanics of geographical indication enforcement. We will cover the appeals process, the complete offense and penalty table, the limitation clock for prosecutions, and the rules for the GI agent profession. While many intellectual property matters are resolved through civil litigation, the GI Act possesses severe criminal teeth. For candidates, precision regarding these specific statutory numbers is a mandatory requirement. Under Section 31, any person aggrieved by an order or decision of the registrar has a 3-month window to file an appeal. That period begins on the date the order is communicated to them. Filing late is not a permanent bar to the appeal. It may still be admitted if the appellant can demonstrate sufficient cause for the delay through a condonation request. This document outlines the appellate forum's jurisdictional update. The Act originally referred to the IPAB. However, the 2021 Tribunals Reforms Act abolished it, shifting jurisdiction to the High Court. Section 32 bars other courts, while Section 35 gives the registrar the right to appear. When evaluating options between the IPAB and the High Court, the 2021 shift is the definitive standard. Accurate recall of this transition is essential for securing these marks. Chapter 8 houses the criminal provisions. It begins in Section 38 by establishing a clear legal boundary between two distinct acts in the counterfeiting process. The first is falsifying a GI. This involves making a geographical indication, or a deceptively similar one, without the assent of the authorized user. It also includes tampering with a genuine GI through alteration or addition. The second is falsely applying. This occurs when someone physically applies a GI to unapproved goods, or uses authentic GI containers to pack fake goods. In practice, the printer manufacturing deceptive labels commits the act of falsifying. The packer gluing those labels onto unapproved products commits falsely applying. Section 38, subsection 4 contains a specific evidentiary rule for prosecuting these offenses. The GI Act explicitly places the burden of proof regarding authorization on the accused. They must prove that the assent of the authorized user existed. The prosecution is not required to prove its absence. This table maps the penalty scheme. Section 39, applying a false GI carries 6 months to 3 years imprisonment and 50,000 to 2 lakh rupees fine. Section 40 applies this to sellers who have defenses like taking precautions. Section 41 escalates penalties for a repeat conviction. These carry a mandatory minimum of 1 year, up to 3 years, and a fine between 1 and 2 lakh rupees. The court may only impose less for adequate, recorded reasons. Section 42 covers false representation of a GI, including unauthorized use of RGI, carrying up to 3 years. Sections 43 and 44 address false registry connections or false entries, maxing out at 2 years. This penalty architecture links directly to Sections 102 to 109 of the Trademarks Act. Mastering this lets you apply the data across both subjects. Upon conviction, Section 46 allows the court to order the forfeiture of all offending goods to the government. For company offenses, Section 48 holds the person in charge and the company liable. Directors are liable if prosecution demonstrates consent or neglect. Section 52 dictates the limitation period for prosecution: 3 years from commission or 2 years from discovery, whichever expires first. This dual clock forces a narrower window, preventing reliance on the full 3 years if discovered early. Section 76 establishes who may act before the registrar: a legal practitioner, a registered GI agent, or a sole employee of the principal. However, making an affidavit is strictly excluded from an agent's authority. This act must be performed personally by the principal. Registration as a GI agent begins with an application under Rule 107. The GI-8 application requires a payment of 1,000 rupees. Rule 108 mandates a written examination followed by an interview. The qualifying marks are exact: 40% written, 50% interview, and a total aggregate of 50% to pass. Once qualified, the certificate is issued on Form 04. Maintaining registration requires a 1,000 rupee annual continuance fee due every April 1st. If a name is removed for non-payment, Rule 113 allows for restoration within 6 months. Regarding transparency, Section 69 allows certified copies of register entries to be admitted in court without further proof. Sections 77 and 78 mandate that the registry keep indexes and documents open for public inspection. These numerical thresholds and administrative deadlines for agents are highly specific. Recalling them precisely is a requirement for this module. Let's lock in the 9 most critical data points from this lecture. Question 1. The appeal period from the registrar's order. 3 months, condonable for sufficient cause. Question 2. Where do those appeals lie today? The High Court. Question 3. The baseline penalty for applying or selling under a false GI. 6 months to 3 years and a 50,000 to 2 lakh fine. Question 4. The penalty for a repeat offense. 1 to 3 years and 1 lakh to 2 lakh rupees. Question 6. Who bears the burden of proving authorized assent? The accused. Question 7. The one act a registered agent cannot perform. Making an affidavit. Question 8. The GI agent exam passing thresholds. 40% written, 50% interview, 50% aggregate. Question 9. When is the agent's annual fee due? The 1st of April. Only one lecture remains. G7 will be the memory module, covering the post-2025 form and fee table, national GI statistics, and the specific GI tags that appear annually in Match the Following questions. Mastering the specific dates, percentages, and fines provides the clarity needed to navigate the heavy technical requirements of the trademarks agent exam. Subscribe and review your notes. We will see you in the finale. This is Patentworld.ai.